Okay, so today what we're doing is taking a look at some tissues which are made up of cells. So yesterday we watched the video on the different cells and you saw that they were all different shapes and doing different things. So what we're going to look at today are some different tissues that have these different different jobs and different roles, so then we can see kind of what's going on. So on Classroom, you have this assignment. It should be ready to go for you. And you'll need to these first three questions are just kind of thinking, reflecting on what you know about cells, what you know about organisms. And then the other piece to it is this idea of structure and function. So when we think about structure and function, it is a part of all sciences, but it's really important for biology because if you think about when we talked about natural selection, this idea of structure and function played a role in that, along with the traits that the organism has. So those that had the structures that gave them an advantage for functioning were surviving and reproducing over others. Okay, so what we're doing is taking it from that macroscopic view of organisms' traits and bringing it down to this microscopic view of looking at the cells specifically, which is what all living things are made of. So what you have is 4 different sets of cells. The first group is Paramecium, and each of these are a different type of Paramecium. Paramecium are unicellular organisms. They are eukaryotic, so they do have a nucleus, but then some of them have some different structures. If you look closely, you'll see have these little tiny fine hairs. Okay, so what you're going to do is jot down the things that you notice and then make a prediction of how the structures that you see or that you're noticing might help that organism to survive. So how might these little tiny fine hairs help the Paramecium to survive? The next one is plant cells. So when you look at the next set of pictures that are here, these are plants that have been cut crosswise. Monocots and dicots are both a type of plant. They're different groups of plants, and you can see that they have different structures in the stems. Remember that plants take their nutrients and water up out of the ground. So they soak up the water and the nutrients from the soil, and they have to transport it up to the leaves. So these are the stems that are in the middle. And so the cells are all very tightly packed. So it'd be like if I took a flower and cut it across the middle of the green stem that the flower was standing on. So notice some things that are here and then predict how these things that you're seeing might help do the function of the stem of a plant, the idea of supporting the plant and also transporting materials. So how do these structures help it to do that? The next one is blood. So this is human blood. You'll see that there's 2 different types of cells. So you have white blood cells that are here, and there's 3 different types of those shown. The red ones are the red blood cells. Red blood cells carry oxygen and carbon dioxide. And then the white blood cells are your immune system. These are the cells that are fighting. So in the video that we watched yesterday, this was the cell that you saw that went like this around and grabbed something that was foreign and just basically engulfed it. And that's what your white blood cells do. They actually digest, break down foreign cells and foreign particles. So looking at these structures, how do these things that you're seeing here help it to do its job? And then the last one is skeletal muscle. So skeletal muscle is like this in your arm, where you can feel your biceps. And if you go like this, you'll feel it tighten up. The muscle cells are these little tiny fibers, so these lines that are here, and then you've got the nuclei inside the cells. And so they're actually multinucleated. They have multiple nuclei in each cell. And so thinking about how muscle is used to pull on bone, what are some of the structures that you're noticing here, and then making some predictions about how those can help skeletal muscle to do its job of pulling bones so that our bodies can move. Don't worry about that next box that's there. That talks about like some of the groups. We didn't get into smaller groups or anything like that. For your explanation, what you're looking at is you do need to make a claim. So it should be something along the lines that all cells are different in the tissues, and then for the evidence using these specific examples. And then finally answering these 3 questions. For this first one, as you're thinking about this, think about what we know or what you know of that actually helps to control the way that organisms function and the way that they work. Okay, so thinking about those things within those organisms. So hopefully that helps. if you weren't able to be in class today, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.